I thought time would fix us. I didn't realize we were breaking up while we were still together. That's the part that stays with me. Not the ending, not the silence after, the part where I was standing right there and still missing everything. She used to sit on the edge of the couch, not curled up, not relaxed, just ready to move if she needed to. I noticed it once, then forgot to notice it again. We had been together almost 4 years, long enough that people stopped asking how we met, long enough that routines replaced conversations, long enough that I assumed stability meant safety. I was wrong. Her name was Claire. She wasn't dramatic. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't demand things she couldn't explain, which is probably why I didn't hear her until it was too late. I was working more than ever, not because I had to, because it felt like progress, long hours, new responsibilities, a title that looked good on paper and felt heavy everywhere else. I told myself I was building something. I didn't ask who I was leaving behind while I did it. Claire worked from home. She was always there when I came back, always asked how my day was. At first, I answered. Later, I summarized. Eventually, I just said, long. She nodded every time. That nod meant more than I understood. One night, she asked, "Do you still like coming home?" Not love, not commitment, home. I laughed it off. Of course, I said. Why wouldn't I? She didn't argue. That should have scared me. We stopped going to bed at the same time. I stayed up. She went in early. At first, I thought it was practical. Later, it became normal. Normal is dangerous. You stop questioning it. I remember one specific evening. Nothing special about it. That's why it matters. She was making dinner. I was answering emails at the table. She asked me something. I don't even remember what. I answered without looking up. There was a pause. Then she said, quietly, "Okay." That was it. No fight, no tension, just a small withdrawal I didn't follow. What I didn't realize then was this. She wasn't asking questions anymore to get answers. She was checking if I was still there. And I kept failing the test without knowing I was taking it. A few weeks later, she stopped waiting up for me. Dinner went into containers. Notes replaced conversations. Food's in the fridge. Went for a walk. Talk tomorrow. Tomorrow became a concept, not a plan. I told myself relationships go through phases. I told myself not everything needs to be intense. I told myself she understood. I never asked. One Sunday morning, she was sitting by the window, coffee untouched, phone face down. That should have been my cue. Instead, "You okay?" She smiled. "I'm just thinking." Thinking was something she used to do out loud. That afternoon, she went out alone. Didn't say where. Didn't say when she'd be back. I noticed, but I didn't stop her. That was my mistake. When she came back, something had shifted. Not her mood, her posture, like someone who had made a decision quietly. I felt it before I understood it. That night, she said, "I don't feel lonely when I'm alone anymore." She didn't accuse me. She didn't cry. She just stated a fact. I nodded. I didn't know what else to do. Inside, something tightened. Because I knew, instinctively, that wasn't a good sign. But I still believed time would smooth it out. Time had always been my excuse. A week later, she stopped asking me to come to bed. Another small thing. Another warning I logged and ignored. The truth is, I wasn't avoiding her. I was avoiding myself. Being present meant noticing things I didn't want to name. Absence felt easier, safer. One evening, she said, "I feel like I live with someone who's always almost here." I joked. "Almost counts." She didn't smile. That was the first moment I felt fear. Real fear. Not of losing her, but of realizing I might already have. She didn't leave that night. She didn't pack bags. She didn't make threats. She went to sleep, and I lay awake next to her, realizing something irreversible had started. Because when someone stops demanding your attention, it's not because they need less. It's because they've learned how to survive without it. I still thought I had time. I didn't know she was already using it to let go. And that's when she did something I wasn't prepared for. But I didn't understand the meaning of it after that until much nothing looked different. That's what confused me the most. The apartment was the same. The routines were intact. She still asked if I wanted coffee in the morning, but something fundamental had shifted. Like living in a house after a quiet earthquake, everything standing, but nothing aligned. I started paying attention too late. I noticed how she stopped filling silence, how she didn't repeat herself anymore, how she accepted my absence without resistance. That acceptance hurt more than anger would have. I tried to fix things the way I fixed problems at work. More effort, more intention, more presence, scheduled and awkward. I asked her out to dinner. She said yes. That scared me more than if she'd said no. At the restaurant, she listened carefully. Too carefully. She smiled at the right moments. She asked questions, but there was no hunger behind them. It felt like a performance for closure I hadn't agreed to yet. "You've been different," I said. She nodded. "I know." That was it. No defense. No counter-argument. Just acknowledgement. "I can change," I said. I meant it. She looked at me for a long time. "I don't need you to change," she said. "I needed you to notice." That sentence landed slowly, painfully. On the walk home, we didn't hold hands. I reached once. She didn't pull away. She just didn't move closer. There's a difference. That night, she slept facing the wall. I stared at the ceiling, replaying everything. Every missed moment, every half answer, every time I chose comfort over connection. I wondered when exactly I'd lost her. I couldn't pinpoint it. That's how I knew it was over. 2 days later, she asked if we could talk. Those words carry weight when spoken calmly. No urgency, no emotion, just finality. She sat across from me at the kitchen table. Same place where we'd laughed once, planned once, believed once. "I'm not leaving because you're bad," she said. "I'm leaving because I became smaller trying to fit into your life." I wanted to argue. I wanted to explain. I wanted to say I was building something for us. But she was already past that version of the story. "I waited," she continued. "For years, I waited for you to look at me the way you look at your future." That hurt, because it was true. She wasn't angry. She was resolved. That's the most dangerous emotion of all. I asked, "Is there someone else?" She shook her head. "No," she said. "There's just me again." She packed slowly, not in a rush, not dramatically. Like someone reclaiming herself piece by piece. I watched. I didn't help. I didn't know how. When she reached the door, she paused. Not for me. For the apartment. For the life that almost worked. "I hope you find what you're chasing," she said. And then she left. The silence afterward wasn't loud. It was spacious. Too spacious. The first weeks alone felt manageable. I told myself I was fine. Work filled the hours. The TV filled the nights. I didn't cry. I didn't break. I just existed. Then one evening, I came home to an empty apartment. No notes, no lights on, no one waiting. And it hit me. Not suddenly, but deeply. I realized something uncomfortable. She hadn't abandoned me. She'd outgrown the version of me that refused to be present. I started replaying moments. Not the fights. We didn't have many. The quiet failures. The times she reached out emotionally and found nothing to hold on to. The cost of my silence finally showed itself. Months passed. I changed some things. Not dramatically, just enough to notice myself again. I listened more. I slowed down. But she wasn't there to see it. And that was fair. One afternoon, I saw her by chance. Across the street, laughing, fully present. I didn't approach her. I didn't wave. I just stood there, understanding something clearly for the first time. Love doesn't leave loudly. It leaves when it's tired of waiting. I don't blame her. I blame the man I was, the one who believed time would fix what attention should have. If I've learned anything, it's this. Being strong doesn't mean being distant. Providing doesn't replace showing up. And silence, unchecked, becomes abandonment. I didn't lose her because I didn't care. I lost her because I didn't show it while it mattered. And that's the part I carry with me. Not as regret, as a reminder. Some people don't leave when you fail them once. They leave when you fail to notice you've been failing all along.